and G2 on overpass. So we've seen 2 trains, 2 overpasses, and a Mirage. I'm waiting to see that glorious cobblestone action, but it's going to be pretty much stabby. Winner of this one want to go on the CT side. Looks as though it's going to be Na'Vi. Indeed, they will. After a pretty lackluster performance against Astralis, well, Astralis did play fantastically well. They brought it back to 16-9, but honestly, in another day, it could have been a complete blowout.
Yeah, both teams have already played Overpass today, both playing Tyloo, both beating them. G2 actually crushing Tyloo on this map. Na'Vi barely scraping past and winning 16-14, I believe. So, I mean, by the transitive property there, G2 should win this, right?
You'd think so, yeah, absolutely. And it should be said as well, here, Eric, that if Na'Vi lose this, they're out. It's pretty much that simple.
This is a massive match for Na'Vi. This is a must-win, I think.
It is indeed a must-win. So top 3 teams go through. The very top team in the group, which right now is Immortals, will instantly go through to the semis and skip a lot more matches. And the 2 next teams, 2nd and 3rd, will go through to the quarters. That's the way the breakdown comes in. Currently, Na'Vi are in a pretty sketchy position with Tyloo rock bottom of the groups, as they are currently 0 and 2, I believe. Maybe even 0 and 3 at this stage. The early kills are being traded, though, as Body is going in with the Glock on long. Guardian is also standing there, and Body puts him down straight afterwards. Simple now in a cheeky spot in the alcove with the USP. Maybe can do some damage, but the bomb's actually on B site. So this position really isn't going to make any difference whatsoever. The T's are simply not interested.
Yeah, G2 hit fast long A, and Edward got completely caught off guard. Wasn't even looking the right way. Was looking at his teammate. And G2 just hitting all the shots this round, just taking the B site with ease. But that was pretty unfortunate for Edward. He was just looking the wrong way and just got, boop, popped in right inside of the head.
Yeah, quick, clean death at least. G2 will pick up the pistol. 3 MAC-10s. By and large today in the T rounds that they've picked up, they've gone for heavy rifle investments. This is really the first time we've seen this kind of an aggressive stance taken from a T side.
Yeah, I think G2 loves to buy SMGs pretty consistently over the maps.
Yeah, for sure. Stack on A for Na'Vi. Again, guys, refresh the stream to fix the sound issues. Happens after every map. Help each other out in the chat, please. If you know what the fix is.
Help us, help you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Refresh the stream, boys. You'll be A-OK. You'll be good to go. It's a Twitch issue. I don't know what it is. It's weird. Pop flash into a peak will yield very little in return. Edward does go for the 1 dig. There are 2 players up there to the right-hand side. I don't believe he caught a glimpse of either of them. Meanwhile, a boost. We'll see Guardian and Simple on the other side. Yeah. This is poised for a bit of a massacre, honestly. Like, if G2 walk into this trap, things will get messy real fast.
Yeah, they got a pretty good stack going on here. Flamey is the one with the flashbang, but he's the one also in the corner. So I don't know if he's going to do a right-click pop flash, maybe double peek from SWAT. But G2 took long A very fast and then just went super quiet.
Oh, well, they did check the left-hand side. And with Flamey dying, it's unlikely they're going to get too much out of this round. But Edward is going in. Scream in the meanwhile is going to be coming back with a Glil. Is a headshot going to be forthcoming? Yes, it will. Courtesy of Scream onto Edward. 2-0. Na'Vi, they sprung the trap. They did take a few players down with them, but they ultimately lost the round nonetheless.
I like that Na'Vi actually committed to that stack. A lot of people would be like, you know, like, hey, we don't hear anything more, let's go back to B. But I think if you're just committed to a stack, you actually just commit to it and don't change your thought process there. So I like that Na'Vi stayed with it, but unfortunately they didn't win.
Too difficult on that occasion. Simple going in. Of course, he was one of the talismen on the overpass earlier with that deagle. Edward up long has got quite a lot of real estate for himself. Of course, that's only half the struggle in battle when you have a P250 up against full-on weapons. You hear the footsteps. Spots players. There's just too many for him to contend with. And down he will go. Up onto A. Will move. Seized. And also Flamey. But just a case of delaying the inevitable here, you have to feel.
What did Na'Vi do well against Tyloo? They have a good T side or CT side? I think it was actually a pretty even game, actually, I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty even. It was kind of kind of streaky back and forth, picking up a bunch of rounds, like 3 or 4 rounds on the back of each other.
Yeah, they actually had a pretty rough T-side start. And then, like, just simple having a big 4K, broke up in a round. C's getting a nice 2K from Tyloo pushing out of tunnels, so we really didn't get to see, like, too much craziness from Navi.
I think the one recurring theme for both teams was connector control on both sides. Like, that's pretty much where they were battling early doors. We mentioned before that Simple is a player that loves to watch connector on either side, CT or T. And he was getting quite a few kills. Of course, Mo picking up the kill when they went for that boost in the pipes. I'm curious if Na'Vi will go for the boost in the pipes against G2 as well. And if G2 will be cognizant of that or not. But we should just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think they will, just because Guardian has an op here. I think they were only doing that because they had low utility and just kind of shit guns. So they were just trying to make something happen.
Well, Shox is going to be the first player in on short. Yeah, it's down to 52, however, so it's a bit rough sailing so far. Na'Vi only down to 2 smokes, however, in the meanwhile. And a recurring theme and a consistent theme for them as well tonight is they have not won the first pistol. They've constantly been on the back foot, it seems.
Yeah, they haven't been able to string rounds together, like, at all. Besides, they had a pretty decent T-side on train, but at that point, they're already, you know, so far in the hole that it didn't really matter. So yeah, I mean, that's got to be a little bit frustrating for Navi. Like, hey, we can't get a pistol. Like, can we win first gun round? Like, it's just got to be a little bit annoying.
Especially as I think they've won every knife round they've played tonight as well, and they've elected to go on the
on the easier side. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's really been, they've got the advantages going their way, but they've been able to really do anything with it. 2 players now pushing towards Monster. There's going to be Scream and RPK. Down goes Scream. Smiths is going to be picked off as well. And meanwhile, the RPK, the tank, is pushing up onto the B side alongside Body. 3 on 2. The next kill could very well trade this one off, and it's going to be Guardian who picks up the next 2 for himself. Na'Vi will finally get themselves on the board, and in a decent time as well. They did lose a few players, but easily able to replenish as a result of saving 2.
Yeah, C's was in such an awkward angle there at Monster. I don't know if you got to see it, but he was like at a spot where usually terrorists will play like an after plan on the B site. So he caught someone off guard just because their crosshair placement wasn't correct, just because he was such in an awkward spot. So a little bit of a cheeky spot from C's there.
Look at all this fire that's been put down onto the B side. Flamey running. He actually took his silencer off. Or at least that may be a bug for me. I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like he took his silencer off. And it makes a great deal of difference. He's dead and buried anyway. And Na'Vi, again, we saw this happen on train.
Tough life. Scream came in, tap tap. And that's a safe save.
Oh,
yeah. Man. Only 2 guys survived last round, so money is tight on the Na'Vi camp. Definitely want to save these guns. And sometimes that monster hit is so hard to defend as a CT side. Like, you just molly barrels, get a pop flash over. You can layer flashes behind your teammates coming out monster, and then it's just so hard to stop that.
But I'm just getting deja vu from Train. When RV finally went around, you're thinking, okay, here we go. They're a double AWP as well on Train. And then they lose the next round, and from there on out, I think they went 7-1 or 8-1 behind, like in the blink of an eye. So,
here's a
pause
too.
Coming in, maybe to try and salvage that from being a reality. G2 are in prime position here. 4-1 the leads against an RV that can drop a couple weapons, but far from ideal.
Yeah, at least they saved here. Get a game plan going for this round. It seems like, I mean, people are just taking pauses like very, very early on just because I think you have just so many now. We've been just getting a lot of pauses lately.
Yeah, I feel like we've averaged at least 3 or 4 pauses per map so far tonight. Has been coming in quite a bit. And I think, honestly, unless things change in terms of the coaching stance, that's probably the way the game's going to go from now on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people are getting the most out of their timeouts, might as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as soon as you start to feel a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress, just call one.
Pop one off.
No reason not to. Especially for a team like Na'Vi, who are very reliant on Starix. I mean, it gives them more opportunity to have his feedback. It's definitely
true.
So Molly through, and Shox is going to be playing on B quite aggressively, waiting for that Molly, of course, to disperse, doesn't lose any unneeded health. Or unnecessary health lost, I should say. Wood is going to get second in that fight against Edwards. So down he goes. Decent pickup for Na'Vi, who do actually have seized. He was on the 5-7 before he picked up the AK from the corpse of Shox. Bathroom push. Quite simple. It seemed like he either played Connector or he played Bathroom on the CT side earlier against Tyloo, so...
Yeah, my opinion here, Simple is playing way too aggressive. Like, Seized has so much information that, like, that's like an unnecessary play that doesn't need to happen.
He nearly got away with it, picking up 1 kill and nearly a second one. I think he knocked RPK down to 7 HP. So...
I mean, you do have so many people stacked here on the CT side. There's still 3 people at the A side, so maybe it's a little bit of a bait. Like, hey, Simple, get as many frags as you can and lead them into our stack.
Nice work, Flamey. Nearly gets a third. So much damage to Scream as Edward that finishes it off. The bomb got dropped earlier in Bathroom. Very nice play by Flamey. 2-4.
And ends out working out pretty well. They were stacked on the A side, so even with Simple going down there, there's so many people there that pretty easy to clean up.
Important that Na'Vi, I feel, got that round after the timeout. Gave him a little bit more to play with here. Again, no huge surprise, he's pushed into Connector. And is that man again Simple? He's unrelenting.
Nice little timed pop flash for him to peek water.
Yep.
A lot of information given. This is what Simple's good at. He'll just give you so much information, just doing confident plays. And then Guardian started off with a pick.
Crucial kill onto RPK. The Simple gets traded out there. It allows G2 control over Connector. It would have been a big scalp as well, taking out Simple. So pretty important. They managed to get that second kill on the board. Of course, this also spreads out the T's that much thinner. It would appear as a direct result, they are going to look to try and congregate their way onto the B side of the map. Scream with the bomb in his hands. He'll be moving through on Monster right here right now with the AK. Can he get the one tap onto C's? No, he can't. And a clear-cut round for Na'Vi. So it's going to do the world of good to their economy and their confidence.
Yeah, finally getting a couple rounds strung together. Nice five-man staying alive at the end, so a couple good rounds for Na'Vi. This is what they need.
That puts G2 into Biologist's pistols, so this is their chance now to equalise. It's a chance to continue to turn that economy in their favour. Simple again into Connector, this time just listening out for some more footsteps. Isn't going to hear any, doesn't give him any early warning signs as to a potential rush.
Yeah, one of the most common eco rounds is to squeeze blue and fountain. So Simple dipping out super fast as soon as he hears footsteps is super smart.
Simple's doing so much damage here, runs out of bullets but switches to his sidearm, and Guardian has his back with the AWP. Simple with 4, Guardian with 1, and a second consecutive round where Na'Vi do not lose a single player. That's exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, a little stat padding there from Simple. Unarmored opponents, pretty easy for him.
Simple, 11 and 5. This is really the best stats that we've seen from him today. He had a poor train. I think he was 3 and 12 at one stage there.
Yeah, he's definitely started off well here.
And of course, that's for a player of his caliber and being very much a confidence player. I think that's going to do a lot of good to Na'Vi. G2 though is still certainly in this one. Flamey has heard the gunfire from RPK, who's now darting up on Connector. So maybe a bit predictable here. This time around it was Edward, not Simple, that was occupying that area of the map. Simple is going to go for the peak and ends up coming out second best. He's now in a world of hurt with the AK-47, looking for the spray. The flash lands on both his and Smith's eyes. And it's going to go the way of G2. So just when you thought Na'Vi were in a position of power, G2 tapping the shoulder and saying, not quite yet. Flamey is going to live up to his name with the molly frag onto screen, but that leaves Guardian and a 1 and 3 with the bomb planted. Is really... not much hope of him getting rushed down here. That is a tasty opening pick though onto Smiths. So if he can maybe rummage together a second frag, this is then doable. He has a smoke. And the kit on top of that, but unfortunately for him, body was laid in wait. G2 are going to get their first rounds in a little while.
Yeah, G2 can be so explosive sometimes. You get RPK just plowing his way through blue, ends up picking up a frag there, and then you can see as soon as he got that kill at connector, the guys at long A just, just went 0 to 100 and just started rushing up long A. RPK got that kill onto Simple at bathrooms, and Simple actually read it pretty well and peeked out, and RPK just blew his head off. So good decision making by everyone at G2. Just put the pedal to the metal and just hit the A site.
It's going to be Shocks though with just a Tech 9 in this round. See that he hasn't fully recovered. Through onto the B side. Slow once again in connector this time. The T side of connector. Just waiting outside a playground. Na'Vi not interested in any aggressive plays. Again, it's going to be Simple in bathroom this time with Guardian looking for the boost. Guardian going for that cheeky peek towards the balloons. And they're going to be boosting over the smoke. This is a really nice boost, actually. If they push out on the staircase just past Fountain, they'd have been dead. But G2, seemingly with a sixth sense, decide not to push it. So this boost is for naught.
Yeah, just waiting for any CTs to push A. Smith was playing super passively in the playground. No one decides to push. They feel like they've held off the aggression, and they're going into a monster hit right now. Mauling barrels. Smith is posted up. And entering in, they're going to be going down. Edward Flamey grabs 2. Smith's trade killing. But still in a deficit right now.
RPK is going to have to go massive, you have to feel here. Smith has already got 2, which is pretty huge, but now it's a 2-on-2. This is where you're expecting RPK to land the headshot, and indeed he will oblige onto Guardian, leaving Simple with a lot of work ahead of him. Bomb gets planted to the sandbag, so the headshot is forthcoming. Smiths with 4 in the round, top fragging for his team. 6-4 in the lead. And
what a god.
Smith's making a point today, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he was barely sticking out, playing at the sandbags, just ducking. As he's planning, he's getting really low to the floor, just being able to get that bomb plant off his sandbags. RPK had a really nice supportive shot onto the guy coming out of connector, lower connector. And just I'm liking the speed here from G2.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see that they do have their slower rounds, but they also mix it up with some faster rounds, some faster takes. So it just keeps Na'Vi on their toes. They're not predictable in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of what we saw in Train. Teams kind of falling into a more slow, steady approach every round. And it got called very easily by the CTs on that occasion.
Yeah. I mean, even last round, they waited for all the aggression, and they set up to a strat, and then, they went like 0 to 100 into that B-bomb site after just posting up for a very long time.
Guardian's toes is going to be a little bit toasty. Down at 74, he will fall. Nothing too worrying for him, though. Simple has gone down. Of course, as soon as I switch across, he gets fragged. It's going to be RPK that's the man to deliver the fatal blow, leaving Seas by himself. He's going to switch his weapon. It's going to cost him a second frag, but he does at least hold firm for one. Flamey, next up to the chopping block. Down he goes very briskly indeed. It surprises me to an extent that Na'Vi are entertaining the idea of a retake there. I'm not sure if maybe they were just looking for an extra frag before backing away, but I felt like the save was almost guaranteed, and well, that is the case now.
Yeah, I mean, kind of questionable play by Simple there. Just he's solo in the connector at blue, and he's just on an island by himself with a pistol. I mean, I guess you're just like hoping to make a big play happen, but I mean, why not just let your guns actually do the work?
Well, Guardian is going to do a little bit of work onto Long to try and keep this AWP alive. And kicking for now and be aggressed on by RPK. Narrowly missing out. That looked almost dead on their head as far as I'm concerned. Just maybe,
I can't believe that missed.
Yeah, it looked like it was dead on his face for RPK.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
Double op though. Good salvage.
Yeah, not too bad at all. They're going to force behind it. I'd be quite surprised considering they're all sort of like low to mid 2000s. Yeah,
it's such a tough call right there. Like, you have two ops. You probably just let the ops play. Just some people get some upgraded pistols and see what can happen.
Now the pause, maybe to decide exactly what is going to be coming up next, which has been resumed So let's see. Are Navi going to buy behind these two orbs? I wouldn't expect to see it. I'm expecting to see maybe simple push through mid, Guardian down to B, depending on the spawns with one of these orbs apiece. They want to play passive or aggressive is another question. And it would appear it's reversed. It's Guardian's actually stick on A by himself, and Simple's going to go to B. For a peek through what looks like could be a monster. That flash will keep him at bay. Very aggressive play, but there is Simple for the first one. Will get traded out instantly afterwards, and the frags are coming in so fast I can't even switch to them. Another kill goes down. Guardian trying to get into position on Heaven, but his teammates have already been dwindled away. There's just no hope from no foundations of which he can build off. Nearly landed a pretty tasty flick shot from Heaven earlier, but that's probably all he's getting out of this round other than exit frags. And they're going to boost up to greet him.
Nice little boost there from G2. But yeah, just that monster push, man. It's so tough. Like, even Simple getting that first frag, coming out monster, you're thinking maybe there's a chance, especially with Guardian and Heaven as well. But just boom, instantly, just everything crumbles, and it's really hard to stop. And it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see if Navi is gonna change their city side setup to maybe play like a double monster setup or take water control. Maybe put just some kind of pressure on G2.
Again, sees Simple just run towards connector, listening for any prey. Doesn't decide to go down the connector side itself. RPK, meanwhile, is going to make this his own home. And here comes a boost again. It's going to be Simple. Needs to be careful. He gets one tap down, and Guardian doesn't go out peeking and realizing that the preemptive spray would be coming his way, so decides to bide his time for now. RPK does get knocked down to 16, however, so it wasn't a free kill.
Yeah, anytime Navi doesn't have like an op or they have just like M4s, maybe some low utility, they kind of go for some kind of boost somewhere, just to try to catch the terrorists off guard. And I mean, Simple had the jump on that guy, but just couldn't finish him off quick enough.
So Navi maybe going to be put into a position where they try something a little bit desperate. You can see C is playing fairly aggressively just outside the connector doors. He's playing Hodor. Oh, not quite. Just gets absolutely destroyed by a Scream. And with 35 seconds left, smoking into Heaven. They will be looking to barrel their way out onto the site. Playing the last line of defense on Graffiti. He's going to get flashed, tagged, and very nearly fragged. Edward, in the meanwhile, is going to join his teammate. His Guardian is dancing with the fire itself. G2 looking in cruise control to pick up a 9th round. Guardian may get some kills in the return. Only the one.
Man, I just feel like Navi is just getting outshot all today.
Yeah.
Like, every engagement I see, just there's not crisp aim, and just the opponent is just really just not missing their shots. Navi just does not look on point today.
I honestly feel like if you came into CS without knowing much about it, like if you've not really watched it that closely, you'd probably think that Navi was like a tier 2, tier 3 team from watching how they played today.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that they are top 3, top 5 in most people's opinions. So it's...
No, they're not looking organized, or... I mean, their aim's not looking on point. And the entire group stage is done in one day, so... Can't have an off day.
Such is Counter-Strike. There are so many teams, there's so many players out there that are not too far away from the caliber of players that Navi possess. If they have an off day or an off tournament, they will get punished. They got punished against Astralis, against Liquid, and potentially G2. And as we highlighted earlier, if they lose this map, they're out of the tournament. They will not be progressing through to the quarters or any further. So this is an incredibly important map. G2 aren't in a position where if they lose this, they're out. They're still in a pretty solid place. But already 9 rounds in their T half, and what looks like it could be a lot more. It's not looking too good. Scream, with the bomb in his hands, will be moving through along with the rest of his team. They have seemed to have decided this is their site of choice. But when you look at Guardian and Seas, they've got a lot of information for their squad. This is giving the confidence to the rest of the CTs to hold fast to the site. And Edward with 2, and literally landing a 3rd one as well. That would have been absolutely nuts. He may have done enough, though, to stave off this push. Now Guardian goes back in, trying to nibble away. It's like being hunted down by a pack of piranha. He will finally put down Smiths, and there's the rounds. All off the back of Edward's huge couple of Mag 7 frags.
Yeah, those 2 entries were absolutely massive from Edward. Good job. Just getting those 1, 2. The Mag 7, dude. It is powerful.
At that kind of range, it's absolutely deadly. It's about playing the weapon, right? Like, to its advantages, to its strengths, and it doesn't get much more dangerous than a Mag 7 at that range. We saw it on Pop Dog on Train. Of course, it's massive in places like Drop on Cobblestone. And equally on Long, it can be an absolute terror. So just when I thought G2 may be taking this half of at least 10 rounds, it may very well be that Na'Vi bring it back to a 6-9 scoreline. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Just as you start to get some faith, it could crumble around to Simple is hiding in the smoke, and he's going to get picked off. Guardian with 2. Can he latch onto any more frags? Caesar's going to come in as well. He's doing everything he can here, Guardian, to somewhat dig his team out of this massive ditch they've got themselves into. Guardian is still waiting. Lands the shot. What about that for a quick scope? 6
That was
to 9.
that was a sick retake from Na'Vi. Starting to finally feel it there. I feel like they're coming up with some confidence from the CT spawn, just coming in, hitting some headshots. That looked like Na'Vi. But I thought that was a really good play by G2, and you saw that actually Na'Vi went for a quick stack on the B site for a rush. Like, they were very heavy ready for that monster rush that G2's been doing, and they counter G2 for a monster rush. But at the same time, G2 changed up their strategy and actually decided to just go fast lane. So almost, I mean, it did kind of catch them off guard. They got the entry kill, but just good retake from Na'Vi.
So I was getting a bit excited about how well Guardian retook the site. All things considered, like taking a step back, G2 still just landed 9 rounds in their T half. That's a fantastic half on overpass.
Yeah, I mean, if Na'Vi wasn't looking that hot versus Tyloo on T-side overpass, so...
That's true, yeah. They struggled. So the hardest side may very well be yet to come for Na'Vi. They need to get this pistol under their belt, that much is for sure. Tech 9 on Flamey. 2 smokes, enough utility to play off. Interestingly, G2 have gone for no defuse kit, so they're just going in for the raw firepower. So RPK will try and back away with his P2000. Meanwhile, Scream is also going to be tapping his way to victory with the 1. He has been put down to 14, but the USP at this kind of range, he is going to get charged down. So I think maybe Scream realizing that if he backed away onto the site, chances are he'd have died anyway. Wanted to try and stand firm and get a couple kills as he went down.
Yeah, he was hoping for just a couple one-taps there. Some very quick one-taps is the only way you're really going to bail yourself out of that situation.
Speaking of one-taps, Flamey's making that Tech 9 work for him. Shocks could be the next player in the firing squad. He maneuvers his way in, but does land the shot. So the pendulum of Counter-Strike continues to go back and forth. Hasn't rested with either team just yet. In terms of HP, certainly favouring Na'Vi, but in pistol rounds, especially where there's USPs and P2000s involved, that may not even end up mattering because those one-taps are very real potential. Edward going to be coming up through Long. There was some noise made by Seized on the B site, and this is going to force the CTs away. Now it allows Edward to get up close and personal with his Glock. This is where the Glock should shine. The bomb getting planted now. The call will come through from Shocks as he hears it go down on the A side. And RPK, who was thinking about rotating, then double guesses and goes back to the site itself. Teammate of Body has been put down. Without a kit, this is where it's really going to sting for G2. It's hard to see them getting this round for themselves. Going to take a massive shot to play, and it's not forthcoming. Na'Vi do pick up the second pistol.
Yeah, that fake at the B bomb site, someone threw, I think it was C's outside the B bomb site. He smoked onto the B site, and Body was in the water, and he saw someone's feet, called that they were going B, and that pulled just one player away from A, which allowed them to enter the bomb site. Shocks was still at SWAT, but not able to kill the planner or really kill anyone coming to the bomb site. RPK rotating there was exactly what Na'Vi wanted. So good, a late round pistol coming out of C's, calling that in the 3v3.
Yeah, it's all about the rotation, because as soon as this G2 members kind of back away from A, it allowed Edward to go right up in towards Bank.
Yep, yeah, you just need those couple seconds, like RPK to run away from A site for 3 seconds, and then in those 3 seconds is when your terrorist team rushes up onto the site.
Closing the gap is so important, especially considering that G2 went for the full Kevlar, as opposed to some utility or a player that was a bit more vulnerable and weakened. So Well played by Na'Vi, but of course they have to navigate their way through this round with the Force Bite on G2. Eagle for Scream, 357 CZ, a lot of firepower on the side.
Yeah, no one's saving for the op on G2 right now, which is pretty interesting because I think the op is very deadly on this map.
Smith's clearly not showing a great deal of interest in it right now. Still, Na'Vi have dwindled away a large chunk of their allotted time here in round 17. 30 seconds left. They look to engage now. There's a trifecta of CTs with a decent crossfire being established. The smokes and flash will somewhat neutralize that. Smiths and Shocks, though, are going to come through with kills, and now RPK has the tall task ahead of him of making something work, and everyone I switched to on the CT side dies in the blink of an eye. Na'Vi will have the round. It was looking a little bit sketchy for a few moments there, but they will pull it out.
Yeah, Edward coming out with that 3K at the end really secures the round. And I mean, that could get tricky. That guy behind that truck can just dodge people, just make plays happen. Makes it very hard to trade kill on a guy at truck because he can just get a kill, go behind the truck, and peek the other side. So Edward getting those kills is actually really massive.
Ooh, Flamey did spot a player darting back and forth. Body trying to be more of a nuisance than anything else. The USP at that range is very unlikely to get anything done. He may well have a nade bouncing by his feet. I think he's back towards the barrels. So he's going to be shielded from the HE. But with the two opening picks, it's going the way you expect. Na'Vi will be bringing us back to even. A much sought after map that they desperately need to hold on to IEM Oakland. It's been a very poor start by their high standards. Flamey should be able to clean this one up by himself. Edward's there to help him out with the Mac 10. Would love to get himself a frag, so gets a bit more money in his back pocket. Indeed he will.
Not quite. Oh. For Edward, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what G2 does here. Not having an op on the board. Let's see if they go for something like maybe an aggressive push into connector, maybe a long A stack. But I think this is going to be a really tough round for G2 to win. Just looking at this buy, you have 5 rifles, 1 FAMAS. The 1 FAMAS guy is the guy that actually has the utility. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough round for G2 to win here, honestly.
I think that's one of the reasons why Shocks is playing so aggro. He's in that kind of position where he can make a play.
This is the play that needed to happen. Beautiful start.
Both Shocks and Stream, like two guys that you're looking at to just force a play out of thin air. And they both land headshots, and look how clean they land it too. No HP lost in the process. That is perfect.
Yeah, this is actually such a clean round right now from G2. And now they're going to get a boost on the screen. Caught him off guard. Another beautiful play from G2 there.
Pretty nuts. Considering that going into this round, they were definitely at a deficit in terms of firepower. Seized and Flamey could still put a spanner in the works and take a few players down with them. Flamey is peeking out slowly.
Boost.
Down he goes. Yeah, they used 2 or 3 boosts in this round, and all of them being successful.
Look at this guy. They're going to do another boost. They're triple boost. This isn't even a boost, but they're stacked on each other's head. The teamwork right now for G2 is so on point. But yeah, this is like why G2 is such a great team, because like they go into this round with a plan in freeze time. A lot of people will have this ship or this bad buy. A lot of people will have this bad buy, and then mid round they're like, "Oh crap, we have no utility, we have no op," like, and then the round's lost, right? It's kind of like hindsight, like, "Oh man, like we should have done something," but you know, G2 being so experienced, like, you know, whoever made this call for G2, like double pushing along, shocked peeking fountain, such a great play.
It seized. Should be able to save his orb considering where G2 are right now. And G2 are in that same position. We've seen this a couple of times tonight, where they could maybe charge down, realizing there's a weapon, but they know that Na'Vi have enough funds to fall back on anyway, and their economy's not great. So even losing one M4 is a pretty big deal in this kind of scenario. But if they just hold off,
is beautiful.
Now they can afford to play a little bit more passively. They don't have to worry about the lack of nades. They've got an AK as opposed to a FAMAS. They have got kits. They're looking pretty good. Pause has been called. So it's pretty even, honestly. There's no one that's necessarily standing out, apart from maybe Scream, who's 17 and 12 and has landed some pretty key frags over these last couple of rounds. But other than that, it's fairly even across the board. I mean, you've got Simple and Guardian both on 15. Season Edward aren't too far behind. Smiths and Body both on 12. Shocks on 11. Everyone's pulling their way.
Yeah, I mean, even RPK, who's bottom fragging, like, he's had some really big, impactful frags. So everyone pulling their weight here.
And still so much to play for. Still so much in terms of CS left in this map. It's by no means over, far from it. Na'Vi, if they can win this round, they will put G2 into a sketchy position once more, but they have just dwindled a lot of their funds. Replenishing those weapons was not cheap, even though they saved the orb for Guardian.
It's kind of interesting that G2 plays with, I don't know if they have 5 M4A1S, like, silencer players, but, I mean, a lot of people, it's just crazy how, like, the entire team is on the silenced version, right? I feel like some people would like the A4, some people like the A1, but it seems like G2 is just all in on the silencer. Which is interesting to check out. Some teams are full silencers, some teams aren't.
Yeah, just all personal preference, I suppose. And G2 have the kind of players as well that are more tap-centric. You know, they're looking for those tasty one-taps, so I guess the A1S isn't too shabby in those kind of environments. Not really looking for the spray through smoke or close range angles.
Yeah, when you think of like Shocks and Scream, you're just thinking of just like precise aiming. So
yeah, exactly. That's what my tired brain was trying to say, Eric. Yes. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Precision, that's it.
oh, Navi doing the boost again.
Here we go.
Not gonna get anything out of it though, but always love to see it.
Yep, looking up onto the long side. G2 playing much more passive this time around. Scream close angle. Looking for that pop flash. Incendiary as well allows him to relocate if he so chooses. He's going to go for another pop. So a lot of utility expended just for Scream to peek a couple more times. 35 seconds left. Seized is setting up for a nade. And it looks like Body is about to maybe push him through the smoke. This does keep Na'Vi's options open, but they're going to have to get a move on soon as he gets caught with his nade out. Rip for him. Close range, see simple. Take down a kill onto Smith. So now Scream comes back in for another one. Maybe in a situation where the A4 would have been more beneficial. RPK in with the M4. He's the next player to fall. 8 seconds left. And the bomb will start to get planted. Body coming through the bathroom. Is he going to catch Guardian unaware? He's gone back into long.
Do they not know where Body killed a teammate at? Seemed like Guardian planted that bomb and didn't know that he was flanking. So I didn't see where Body got the previous kill at. But Guardian getting a shot in the back. Not going to miss those.
Too easy for Guardian. It did take 4 players with them though, G2, but this is the situation I was talking about before, where if they lost the previous round, they're going to be down to around $3,000, $4,000. So it's that kind of corridor of uncertainty now for a CT side, where do you buy or do you just stave off? And it looks like they're going to decide to tap out for this round. They'll have a better buy in the next one, of course.
Yeah, I actually like this. Like, there's no need to force that. Give him 11 and just get a really nice solid buy-in.
Simple coming through with the AK-47. He's about to get pushed on round the backside, courtesy of Smiths and Scream. Nice headshot by Scream. He's looking for another one. It's not going to land it. As expected, Na'Vi will take the lead once more. Here comes another pause, as it's now G2's turn to try and figure out what to do, to change up, what to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only round they won was that aggro play on Long and Fountain, so... Should be... oh, someone actually drops out of the server.
Ah, okay. So there's actually a technical issue as opposed to a tactical one. RPK, the man that is going to be reconnecting. Apparently he's restarting his game.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think G2 has to do anything too creative here. I mean, they've only played a couple rounds. I mean, they probably have G2 probably has a bunch of setups to go to on their CT side, whether it be like a water connector control, you know, like just like they had that double long A push and the fountain push. They probably have a bunch of different setups to go to if they need to, and they feel pressured to make a play and make that first pick happening. But still in a good position to win this.
Buddy has a pretty good spawn as well if he wants to go for a peek up through Fountain side. I'm quite curious here.
Yeah, that's actually a really good spawn, and Buddy, not one of the players that's gonna feel doing something like that, I guess.
I feel like if this is Scream, Shocks, or Smiths, they're guaranteed to just push up on Phantom, maybe have a peak, especially if it's Smiths. But
Yeah.
now that he has the AWP, but maybe Body is going to be a little bit more passive in that. But it is a fairly... It's one of the best spawns you can really get, actually, for Fountain, this one. Almost as good as you could ask for.
Yeah, you'll see Stewie do that with like Skadoodle. Skadoodle will just give Stewie the op if he ever has the spawn, and Stewie will just go peek, whether it be on like Dust 2 Long A or just, you know, peeking Fountain on Overpass. Getting that early pick with that spawn is, you know, super useful.
Well, let's see. Judging from where he's looking right now, I don't think it's going to be the case. Nah, he's not interested. Instead, Scream and Smith's going to be pushing up long together. Is there going to be a peek up along from Rock? No, there isn't. Going to be playing more of a passive role here. Scream using the M4A1S close range on the Rock. Connector control has been taken again. Bomb dropped out there. And G2 not seemingly that interested in pushing Connector on their CT side. We've seen Na'Vi doing this a lot more. Likes of Simple going in there. But Na'Vi seemingly don't have to worry about anyone pushing in from the CT's perspective.
A little bit of a... Oh, they did have a double stack on the short at B, but... Wait, do they still? No, okay. Just one guy. And now they're back in the stack.
Scream doesn't know those kind of positions as well. If he decides to just push a bit forward, this could be an absolute nightmare. Edward's taking a lot of damage though on balloons in the meanwhile. Scream playing this one very passively, very patiently. 50 seconds to go. He's in one of those kind of positions he can very quickly wrap himself around if the time gets scarce and they know it's going to be an A hit. But Guardian is going to get the drop as Scream finally decides to push. His patience was wearing thin, as is his life. 33 seconds left, and it seems like Na'Vi are going to be forced into a B hit. But that's going to be into the embracing arms of both Body and also RPK. Can they fend this one off? They've already put a smoke down, and Seas gets picked off as the smoke starts to clear. 20 seconds now. That could prove to be a very important kill indeed, as Body is going to be using that smoke to jump over the top of it, looking in towards short. The problem is the players are coming through Monster, and no one is watching it. What happened there? Both RPK and Body go down. It was looking so good for G2. Now Shocks comes in. The bomb does get planted, but he's going to pick himself up 2 frags. And that's all as Na'Vi take a 2-round lead. It was looking so poor for them after that first half. And it seems like they have stabilized.
What was that guy doing in sight?
It was RPK, like, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just completely oblivious to people being out of Monster. I don't know if he thought he was like in a smoke or something. But honestly, if the CTs would have just survived in pit, Shocks was flanking short. Like, man, that's such a tight round.
Yeah, you had Body who was on top of the site, I think, looking at short through the smoke, and then RPK was behind him. So, I mean, I was watching from Body's perspective. I didn't see what RPK was doing, but it seems very odd to me that you'd have both players watching short, as opposed to someone on Monster. Yeah,
definitely maybe a miscomm there.
Especially considering the time that was left. Like, just one kill to finalize that round nicely. Seized and Flamey had the right idea. And RPK and Body, the 2 B defenders from last round, will be the first 2 to fall in this one. He's going to be a B stack though. Very B influenced round for G2. Out on the site, they're starting to move. That's going to be into the arms of Scream. Just pick himself up a death, and now Smiths with the P250 is all that remains. It seems like G2, they just ran out of gas a little bit. They were looking so good earlier on, but now on their CT side, they've only picked up 1 round.
Yeah, this is where Na'Vi wins out and then just wins the event. This is the switch.
From nearly going out in groups to winning the event, that would be one hell of a turnaround. They seemingly have woken up though. Simple, this is the best performance I've seen from him today. 22 and 16. Other 2 maps that we've casted, he seemed a little bit rough. But
yeah, their T-side play is also looking very sound as well. I haven't really seen like a single mistake out of their T-side, to be honest.
Very few, yeah. As opposed to G2 have misstepped quite a few times.
Yeah, that one at the B bomb site for sure.
I mean, that was a massive one, because you got 10 seconds left, just 1 or 2 kills, and that was the round under wraps for them.
Yeah, especially when you have a teammate flanking. Like, your job is just to stay alive. Like, the flankers come probably like, hey, I'm flanking, stay alive, and then like they just both double peek and.
Smith is going to fall prey to a long push. Very simple for one. Can he get any more for his endeavours? No, he can't. And the bomb has been planted. 3 on 3. A must-win round for G2. Let's jump on board from their perspective and see if they can make this retake a reality. We've got 2 players going by each other. But just as I try and switch, Shox has already been put down out of his misery. Body, RPK, you made a bit of a whiff in the previous round. Can you bounce back in this one? This would be one hell of a comeback. That flashbang on point, Guardian pushing through. There's the first frag. Body switches very quickly, trying to spray his way down, but his teammate has died on the bomb. And Na'Vi now with a 4-round lead, looking to put this map to bed. And G2 will be calling another pause.
Oh, that's such a good opportunity there. RPK smoked the bomb, tapped it, brought out the terrorist, and then just didn't cleanly get that frag. But you know, him smoking the bomb and tapping it is also always so scary for the terrorists. You know, they come out spamming the smoke, and then you know, RPK not actually being on the bomb had such an opportunity to grab that frag. But actually, it was Flamey that walked around in the bathrooms and backstabbed Shox. He must have just barely saw Shox, and he got like a really nice wraparound frag.
So the G2 defense pretty much get destroyed as soon as that long push came around. I think it was Smith who was hiding around the bathroom side as well. Gets taken down from behind like Scream does.
Yeah, that was actually a really good change of pace from them. It actually caught me off guard. Like, I was talking about something else, and they're already into the bomb site, so... Nice little change of pace from Na'Vi.
Now G2 are down to their last chance now, really. 3 for masses, no kits. Timeout, I'm sure, was revolving around what kind of a purchase they would be looking for. Scream. Yeah, boosting maybe his teammate. Look at this change of pace again. This time it's Guardian who's going looksies through Monster with the orb. How slow they've been playing these rounds. And see it nearly paid off for him. Body darts back to the barrels. Simple with that connector control once more. RPK is going to be boosting. Up shots. A similar position to what he died on the T side a couple of times, as he was predominantly the B player. The terrorist.
Shox actually didn't get off the boost. Oh, he just did. Never mind.
I think he may have heard footsteps as well, you know, to his left-hand side. I think he may have heard Simple moving. Is this what's triggered this aggressive play? Yeah, he seems to realise there's someone to his right-hand side right now. But unfortunately, Simple with 2! He even knew he was there. He heard the footsteps earlier, and still Simple gets the upper hand onto both players. Yeah. Definitely starting to go in the hands now, firmly, of Na'Vi. Body is going to come back for a frag. And a second one. Smith, though, is going to be the next player. The 4th, Simple with a 4th. Exploding into this round. Leaving Scream all that remains. Can Simple pick up the ace? No, he can't. It's going to be Guardian that takes it from under him. But still, what a single individual performance, man.
Yeah, Shox knew he was there right underneath the boost that he was at. And Shox just looks to the left and Simple peeks out. So... like, not fully believing that he heard him underneath him, but wow. Timing in CSGO, it's everything.
Can make or break, win or lose. Full for masses. Simple 27 and 17 now. Stepping it up significantly. Fairly aggressive positions assumed by G2 with Scream in the bathroom this time. He does have Shox just ahead of him in connector side. C's down to 56.
Yeah, Na'Vi knows they're low on money. Can have a a Thomas buy here, so they're just playing super passively. G2 kind of has to make a move with what they have, and they already punished Shox.
Could be the beginning of the end for G2, and RV will just about by their fingernails claw on to staying in the groups. I'll be curious to see how that actually will put the groups into play, as we have got through the bulk of Group A matches now. Flaming with the next one. Flash going to keep his finger on the trigger just in case there's a second player there, which of course there is, and Scream is the next player to fall. Na'Vi are so close to the finish line, they can taste it. Body Here's all that remains. He's on the B side. RPK has been bested courtesy of Simple, who is now one shy of his 30. It would be fitting if he was the player to end Body, and indeed this map. And consider that Na'Vi were 9-6 behind going through into the half. G2 with just one round on their CT side. Simple will not be getting the final kill and his 30 bomb, but Na'Vi will be claiming their map and now move 2 for 2 in the groups and hold